Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever felt that money seems to run away from you? That no matter how hard you try, it slips through your fingers like sand? I want you to imagine for a moment, what if money wasn't just numbers on a screen or paper in your hand? What if money had an angel, a guardian spirit, an unseen force that visits people and decides who it will stay with? Now stay with me, because if money has an angel, the real question is, how do you attract it? And more importantly, how do you keep it? Think about this. We all know someone who works hard day and night, yet they struggle to pay bills. And then we see others, people who don't seem to work as hard, but money flows to them like a river. Why? It's not just luck. It's not just talent. It's the energy they carry. It's the beliefs they hold. It's how they treat this angel of money. The angel of money doesn't come to chaos. It doesn't stay where it's disrespected. It doesn't live where there's fear, greed, or self-doubt. But it is drawn to order. It is drawn to gratitude. It is drawn to people who know how to multiply what they are given. Let me give you a simple example. Have you ever lent money to a friend who never returned it? What happened the next time they asked? You hesitated, didn't you? Why? Because they didn't respect what you gave. Now imagine the angel of money watching how you handle what's in your pocket today. Do you use it wisely? Do you save, invest, give, and circulate it? Or do you let it slip away without care? The angel is always watching. I remember a man I once knew. He earned just enough to survive. But whenever he received his salary, he treated it like a celebration. He would save a small portion. He would invest a little in learning, and he would give a part away to those in need. At first, nothing seemed different, but slowly, opportunities started knocking. He found better jobs, new clients, unexpected blessings. Was it magic? Or was it the angel of money saying, "You've proven you can handle more. Here's more"? Let me ask you something. If money is energy, what kind of energy are you sending out? Do you complain about not having enough? Or do you thank God for what you already have? Do you chase money desperately? Or do you attract it by becoming valuable? The angel of money doesn't bless desperation. It blesses preparation. It blesses vision. It blesses courage. And here's the truth. Money is not the root of evil. It is a tool, a servant, a multiplier. If you're kind, money multiplies your kindness. If you're greedy, money multiplies your greed. If you're wise, money multiplies your wisdom. So the angel is careful. It asks, if I give this person more, what will they do with it? Here are some key points related to this. Money is not just currency. It's energy, and it responds to how we treat it. The angel of money stays where there is order, gratitude, and respect. Complaining about lack repels money, but gratitude and wise use attract it. Money multiplies who you already are. Kindness, greed, wisdom, or recklessness. Treat money as a servant and tool, not a master. Consistency in saving, investing, and giving prepares you for more blessings. Imagine for a moment that money isn't just lying in your wallet or sitting silently in a bank account. Imagine it has a pulse. Imagine it breathes. It listens. It feels the energy of the place it enters. When I say money is not just currency but energy, I mean it's alive in a way we often overlook. And just like any form of energy, it flows, it moves, it seeks direction. It doesn't like to be trapped, ignored, or abused. It responds to the way we think, speak, and act around it. Think about a guest who visits your home. If you greet them warmly, offer them tea, and make space for them, they'll feel welcome. They'll want to stay. But if you slam the door, complain about them being there, or treat them with carelessness, they'll leave. Money is that guest. It walks into your life and observes how it's treated. Does it feel valued, or does it feel wasted? I once heard a story of a young man who always said, "Money just disappears from my hands. I don't even know where it goes." And true enough, every month he was broke before the second week. But when you looked closer, you could see what was happening. The moment he received his paycheck, he spent without thought. New clothes, random outings, little things he didn't need. There was no gratitude, no awareness, no sense of stewardship. He treated money as if it were endless, as if it didn't matter. And in return, money slipped away, as if offended. Contrast that with another man I knew who wasn't earning much more, but the way he interacted with money was completely different. Every note he held, he gave purpose. He would pause before spending, asking himself, will this bring value back to me? Will this grow or vanish? He kept a journal of his income and expenses, not obsessively, but respectfully, as though he was saying to money, I see you, I honor you, I know you matter. Slowly, opportunities began opening for him. Unexpected income sources appeared. Side jobs blossomed into steady streams. Money, like a friend who feels appreciated, kept returning to him. There's a wisdom I once read that said, energy goes where attention flows. And money is no exception. If you treat it with neglect, it feels neglected. If you speak badly about it, if you always say, I never have enough, or money is the root of all problems, you are sending out an energy of rejection. Imagine telling a person those words every time they walk into your presence. How long would they stay? But when you shift and say, thank you for what I have, no matter how small, suddenly the vibration changes. The angel of money hears gratitude. It senses respect. And just like sunlight finds its way into an open window, money begins finding its way to you. Consider the difference between a farmer who plants seeds recklessly, throwing them into the wind, and one who plants them carefully, watering, nurturing, and protecting them. Both farmers might receive the same number of seeds. But who do you think will have a harvest? Money is the seed, and your attention, your respect, your gratitude, that's the soil. If the soil is careless, dry, full of weeds, the seed can't grow. But if the soil is rich with order and intention, the harvest multiplies. Let me ask you this. Have you ever received money unexpectedly? Maybe someone paid you back when you had given up hope. Maybe a bonus arrived, or a gift you weren't expecting. In that moment, didn't you feel a rush of joy? You probably said something like, wow, I really needed this. Thank you. That feeling, pure gratitude, untainted by doubt or complaint. That's the exact vibration that makes money want to return again. The angel of money doesn't need grand gestures. It needs a heart that can say, what I have is already a blessing, and I will treat it well. I remember an older woman in a small town who lived very modestly. People often wondered how she managed because she didn't have a big income. Yet somehow, she never lacked. She always had food, her home was well kept, and she was able to give small gifts to her grandchildren. When someone asked her secret, she smiled and said, every coin I touch, I bless. I whisper, thank you for coming. Bring your friends next time. It sounds almost childlike, doesn't it? But there was power in her words. Her mindset turned each coin into a magnet, pulling more towards her. That's the essence of treating money as energy. It listens to the story you tell about it. Think about your own language. How often do you say, I'm broke? How often do you sigh when paying a bill and say, all my money's gone again? Words are powerful. They shape reality. If money hears only complaint and frustration, it feels unwelcome. What if instead, when paying that bill, you said, I'm grateful I had the money to cover this? Suddenly, the act of giving money away shifts from loss to flow. And money loves flow. It's called currency for a reason, like a current. It must move, circulate, exchange hands. But when you let it flow with gratitude rather than resentment, it circles back with greater force. There's a businessman I once met who had this strange habit. Whenever he paid someone, a vendor, an employee, even at a restaurant, he would silently say, may this money bless you and return me multiplied. He treated every transaction as energy being exchanged, not lost. And you know what? His business thrived. He said to me once, it's not about superstition. It's about energy. If I send money out with resentment, it won't return. But if I send out with blessing, it always finds its way back. The angel of money doesn't care about how much you start with, whether it's $10 or $10,000. What matters is the spirit in which you hold it. If you scorn it, it will vanish. If you hoard it fearfully, it will grow stagnant. But if you respect it, if you circulate it wisely, if you bless as it leaves and appreciate when it arrives, then it will see your home, your life, as a safe place to stay. And just like a friend who loves your company, it will return again and again, bringing others along. Money is energy, and energy never lies. It mirrors you. If you live in fear, it reflects fear. If you live in abundance, it reflects abundance. And when you finally realize that every coin, every note, every transaction carries a story, then you begin to write a new one. One where money is not an enemy, not a stranger, but a loyal companion who trusts you enough to stay by your side. The angel of money doesn't come to chaos. It doesn't stay in a place where there is no order, no gratitude, no respect. Imagine walking into a house where clothes are scattered everywhere. Dishes are piled high in the sink, and the air feels heavy with arguments. Even if the people there were kind, you wouldn't feel comfortable staying long. Now imagine another home. Simple, maybe not expensive, but neat, clean, and filled with laughter and warmth. Where would you feel drawn to stay? Money feels the same way. It is not just a tool. It carries an energy that seeks harmony. When your life is in disorder, when you live in constant stress, fear, or recklessness, money senses that it cannot stay because it knows it will not be respected. I remember a young man who told me once, "I don't know why money slips through my hands. No matter how much I make, it's gone in days." When I asked him how he handled it, he laughed and said, "Oh, I don't plan. I spend as it comes. I'll figure out later." And there it was. Chaos. No respect for the value of each note. No gratitude for the work that brought it. No plan for where it should go. His pockets were like open windows in a storm. Whatever entered quickly blew away. The angel of money does not linger in such places. But contrast this with a woman I knew who earned far less, but somehow always managed. Every time she received money, she set a portion aside, even if it was tiny. She would whisper, "Thank you," before spending a single coin. Her purse was always in order, her notes neatly folded, her accounts carefully tracked. She treated money with quiet dignity, and over time, opportunities came to her. Unexpected gifts, promotions, support from unlikely places. Was it coincidence? Or was it the angel of money saying, "Here's someone who makes me feel welcome"? Gratitude is like a magnet. It pulls blessings closer. I once heard someone say, "The universe loves a thankful heart." And it's true. If every time money enters your life you complain, "This is not enough, it's never enough," then the energy of lack grows stronger. But when you say, "I am grateful for this, and I will make it multiply," you open the door for more to enter. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending you have millions when you don't. It means respecting what you have, no matter how small. If you cannot honor $10, why would the angel of money trust you with 10,000? Order is another language the angel understands. Think of your wallet. Is it stuffed with crumpled receipts, coins rattling around, and torn bills folded carelessly? Or is it neat, organized, a space that feels ready to receive more? It may sound silly, but the physical way you hold money reflects the energy you carry toward it. I once knew a shopkeeper who always arranged her cash box with precision. She would align the notes, count them carefully, and treat every coin as if it mattered. People laughed at her for being so particular, but she smiled and said, "Money loves respect. If I treat it well, it will bring its friends." And indeed, her little store thrived while others around her closed down. Respect also means learning how to circulate money wisely. Imagine giving someone a gift and watching them throw it aside carelessly. Would you give them another? Money feels the same. If you waste it without thought, it feels unappreciated. But when you use it with purpose, investing in learning, providing for your family, helping someone in need, it feels honored and it returns. The angel of money doesn't stay where greed rules, either. Have you ever seen someone who suddenly came into wealth but became consumed by it? Their lives often spiral into loneliness and emptiness, because the angel does not bless greed. It blesses balance. I once sat with an old man who had lived through both poverty and wealth. He told me, "When I was young, I chased money with desperation. I thought if I just had more, everything would be better. But it never stayed. I would spend it, lose it, waste it. It wasn't until I learned to say thank you for the little I had, to respect it, to bring order into my life, that money began to respect me back." His words stuck with me. Money is not drawn to the loud cries of desperation, but to the quiet strength of gratitude. Fear drives the angel away too. Fear says, there will never be enough. I must hold tightly, I must hoard. But what happens when water is trapped with no flow? It becomes stagnant, foul, lifeless. Money, like water, must move. It wants to be shared, invested, given, and returned. The angel of money cannot stay with those who grip it in terror, because fear repels the very flow that creates abundance. And self-doubt, oh, that is another barrier. Have you ever noticed how people who believe they are worthy often receive more? They walk into opportunities, ask boldly, create with confidence. Meanwhile, those who doubt themselves shrink back, saying, I could never handle more. The angel of money listens. If you declare with your words and actions that you are not ready, it will respect that and stay away. But if you stand with quiet confidence and say, I will respect, honor, and multiply what I receive, then the angel sees you as a worthy host. There was a young woman who dreamed of starting her own business. She saved every little coin, thanking God for each step forward. She kept her vision alive with gratitude instead of frustration. When she finally opened her small cafe, she treated each customer like gold, each dollar like a blessing, and the cafe grew. People felt her energy when they entered. They felt welcome, respected, and valued, just like the way she treated her money. In a way, the angel of money wasn't just blessing her bank account. It was blessing the atmosphere she created. Chaos, fear, greed, self-doubt. These are like locked doors that keep the angel out. But gratitude, order, respect. These are open windows through which abundance enters. Think of money as a guest of honor, delicate yet powerful, seeking a place where it will not only be kept but multiplied with dignity. If you give it such a space, if you welcome it not with desperation but with reverence, it will choose to stay longer, and it will invite more its kind to join. Complaining about lack repels money, but gratitude and wise use attract it. That truth may sound simple, yet it is one of the most powerful forces that shape our financial lives. Think of a person who wakes up every day sighing, I never have enough. Life is unfair. Money always escapes me. Those words are not just sounds. They are signals, vibrations, little ripples sent into the world. And the angel of money hears them. What it hears is rejection, bitterness, resistance. It feels unwelcome. Just like no one enjoys being around constant negativity. Money, too, pulls away from an atmosphere filled with complaints. Now, picture another person who wakes up, even with very little in their pocket, and whispers, Thank you. At least I have this today. I can work with this. I can grow this. That gratitude shifts everything. It turns even the smallest amount into fertile ground for more to grow. I once met a man who seemed to be cursed with financial struggles. Every time we spoke, he would say things like, I'm broke again. I don't know why this always happens to me. It wasn't just his words. You could feel the weight of his frustration. He believed money was his enemy, that it deliberately avoided him. And in a way, it did, because his mindset created blind spots. He couldn't see opportunities, even when they stood in front of him. He ignored small chances to save, to invest, to build. He didn't recognize blessings when they came because he was too busy complaining about what he didn't have. The angel of money doesn't stay where it is cursed. But then there was a woman I knew who worked a modest job, earning just enough for her family to survive. Yet every time she paid for something, she would smile and say, I'm grateful I had the money to do this. Even while paying bills, she carried no resentment. She saw it as proof that she was provided for, that somehow she had enough at the right moment. Slowly, her life began to shift. Unexpected bonuses came, side projects blossomed, and she grew in confidence. Gratitude had opened the door. It reminded me of saying I once heard, where attention goes, energy flows, and results show. If your attention is fixed on lack, you magnify lack. If your attention is fixed on gratitude, you magnify abundance. Imagine two farmers. One walks his land complaining, This soil is useless. Nothing grows here. I'll never have enough. The other kneels down, touches the earth, and says, This may be hard ground, but I will water it, nurture it, and I believe it will yield. Which one do you think the rain will favor? Which one do you think will notice the small sprouts of opportunity when they appear? Complaining blinds you to sprouts. Gratitude helps you see them. Wise use of money is another form of gratitude, because gratitude is not only spoken, it is shown. When you treat money carelessly, when you spend recklessly on things that don't serve you, it is like saying, I don't value what I was given. Imagine giving someone a gift and watching them throw it on the floor. Would you give them another? The angel of money asks the same question. But when you spend with thought, when you invest in growth, when you save a portion, when you give to others, you're saying, I honor what I have. And honoring what you have is what attracts more. I recall a story of a young entrepreneur who once received a small loan from his uncle to start a business. Instead of wasting it on flashy items or quick pleasures, he carefully budgeted, used part to purchase necessary tools, invested another part in marketing, and saved a small emergency portion. His uncle was so impressed by the way he respected the money that he offered him another, larger investment. That business grew, not just because of the product, but because the man had shown gratitude through wise use. He attracted not only more money, but also more trust, more support, more belief from others. Gratitude was his magnet. On the other side, I knew of someone who received a large sum through inheritance. For a while, he felt rich, powerful, unstoppable. But instead of respecting it, he splurged on cars, parties, and luxuries. Within a short time, everything was gone. The angel of money doesn't stay where it's abused. Without gratitude and wisdom, even abundance turns to emptiness. And it's not just about keeping money. It's about how you make it work for you. Think of money like water. If you curse the little you have, you're poking holes in your own container, letting it leak away. If you hoard it with fear, it stagnates, grows stale, brings no life. But if you pour it wisely, watering seeds of education, investment, generosity, it flows back to you in streams. Gratitude is like opening your hands to the river, trusting that more will come. Complaints, on the other hand, are like clenching your fists, closing yourself off, making it impossible to receive. There's also something deeply psychological about this. Complaining puts your brain in survival mode. You become focused on problems, blind to solutions. But gratitude activates creativity. When you are thankful, your mind shifts into possibility. You see options you didn't see before. The angel of money doesn't just bring cash. It brings ideas, inspiration, networks, and pathways. But you can only notice them if your spirit is tuned to abundance instead of lack. One man told me a story that perfectly illustrated this. During a difficult period, he had barely enough to pay rent. Instead of collapsing into complaints, he made a list of every blessing he could still count. His health, his supportive wife, his skills, his small savings, even the meal he had in front of him. That night, he prayed with gratitude instead of desperation. The very next week, a former colleague reached out with a job offer he hadn't expected. Was it coincidence? Or was it that his gratitude had shifted his perspective, making him ready to see and accept the opportunity? He smiled as he told me, when I stopped cursing my situation, I finally saw doors that had always been there. The angel of money listens to the stories we tell about it. If your story is, I never have enough, it agrees and leaves. If your story is, I am thankful for what I have and I will use it wisely, it leans in and multiplies your blessings. Gratitude attracts because it creates a vibration of welcome. Complaints repel because they create a vibration of rejection. And wise use proves that your gratitude is real, not just words. So the choice is always before us. We can curse the lack and push money away, or we can bless the little and invite more. It doesn't matter how small the beginning. It matters how you treat it. The angel of money is watching, asking silently, will you complain, or will you honor? Will you waste, or will you multiply? Will you push me away, or will you welcome me in? Money multiplies who you already are, kindness, greed, wisdom, or recklessness. That is a truth many people don't realize until it's too late. People often say, if I had more money, I'd be happier. If I had more money, I'd finally become generous. If I had more money, I'd make wiser choices. But money doesn't transform you into someone new. It only turns up the volume on who you already are. It's like giving someone a microphone. The voice is the same, but now everyone can hear it louder. If you are kind, money amplifies your kindness. If you are careless, money amplifies your mistakes. The angel of money doesn't change your character. It simply gives a stage. I remember a young man who grew up in poverty. He always said, "If I ever become rich, I'll show everyone who I really am." And one day, fortune came his way. He inherited a substantial sum. At first, he was excited. He bought cars, filled his house with expensive furniture, and threw lavish parties to prove to others that he had arrived. But within a few years, it was all gone. Not because he didn't have enough, but because money had only multiplied his recklessness. The same habits he had with small amounts, spending without thought, showing off to others, chasing temporary pleasure, those habits simply grew bigger with more money. Instead of turning him into a new man, money revealed the truth of who he already was. The angel of money had given him a chance, but without wisdom and humility, the blessing slipped away. Now contrast that with another story. A woman I once knew worked tirelessly in a small job. She had always been generous, even when she had little. If she earned a small bonus, she would buy fruit for her neighbor. If she saved a little extra, she would contribute to her local church. She lived with gratitude and a sense of responsibility. Eventually, she built a small business, and it grew steadily. As her income multiplied, so did her generosity. She funded scholarships, supported community programs, and helped families who had less. Money had not changed her. It had simply expanded the kindness she had already been living. This is why I say money is not good or evil. It is a mirror. It reflects your soul. Think about fire. In the hand of a careless person, fire burns down houses and destroys lives. In the hand of a wise person, fire warms homes and cooks meals. Money is fire. It magnifies the intentions of the person holding it. This is why the angel of money is cautious. It doesn't rush into the lives of those who are not prepared, because more money in the wrong hands is not a blessing. It's a curse. A greedy person with little money can cause small harm. A greedy person with great wealth can damage entire communities. But a kind, wise person with wealth can build schools, hospitals, and futures. The angel knows this truth. More always multiplies what already exists. Have you ever noticed how lottery winners are often back to poverty within a few years? It's not because the money wasn't enough. It's because their mindset wasn't ready. If someone has never built discipline, never practiced patience, never learned responsibility, then when sudden wealth arrives, it only enlarges the chaos already inside them. The angel of money will not stay where there is no foundation. A shaky house collapses under weight, no matter how beautiful it looks. That is why small beginnings are not curses. They are training. The way you treat a little is the audition for how you will handle a lot. If you are faithful with little, you will be faithful with much. I once heard a wealthy man say something profound. Money doesn't buy character. It exposes it. He told a story of two employees he had promoted. The first, when given a large salary, became arrogant. He treated his colleagues poorly, spent lavishly on himself, and soon his work began to suffer. The second, when given more, quietly started funding night classes for struggling students. No one asked her to. She just felt it was the right thing to do. Money had not made them who they were. It had simply revealed them more clearly. The angel of money is always listening for the heart's intent. Think of yourself in this moment. If you received 10 times the money you have today, what would multiply in your life? Would your kindness grow, or would your greed? Would your wisdom expand, or would your recklessness? Would your self-control deepen, or would your impulsiveness explode? These are hard questions, but they matter because the angel does not measure you by what you say you'll do when you have more. It measures you by what you already do with what you have. If you're generous with $10, you'll be generous with 10,000. If you're reckless with $10, you'll be reckless with 10,000. The scale changes, but the soul remains. There was a young boy who once received his first allowance from his father. Instead of rushing to spend it on candy, he set aside a small portion for saving, another for sharing, and another for enjoyment. His father was so impressed that he doubled the allowance the following week. That boy grew into a man who always respected his money, and as his career blossomed, his wealth grew. But the habits never change: save, give, and enjoy responsibly. The angel of money recognized his discipline early and chose to stay. It wasn't the size of the allowance that mattered, but the spirit in which it was handled. Now, think of a garden. If the soil is full of weeds, adding more seeds won't bring fruit. It will only multiply the weeds. But if the soil is rich, ready, and cared for, more seeds bring greater harvest. Money is the seed. You are the soil. Whatever lives inside you, kindness, greed, wisdom, foolishness, will grow larger when money is planted there. The angel of money knows this, and that is why it sometimes withholds abundance until the soil is ready. Because abundance in the wrong soil is not abundance at all. It is destruction. When you look at stories of the greatest philanthropists, you see a common thread. Long before they became wealthy, they practiced generosity. They gave when they had little, and when they finally had much, their giving simply expanded. Their wealth became rivers that flowed into communities, into education, into healing. But when you look at those who use money to oppress, to manipulate, to destroy, you'll notice those tendencies were always there too, just waiting for more power to bring them to light. Money multiplies what is already planted. So when you dream of more, don't just dream of the cars, the houses, or the luxury. Dream of the person you're becoming now, because that person will only grow louder when money enters the room. The angel of money wants to bless, but it also wants to protect, and it knows that if more comes to a heart filled with recklessness, it will only speed up ruin. But if more comes to a heart filled with kindness, wisdom, and respect, it will multiply blessings for generations. Money is not the maker character. It is the amplifier. It simply hands you the microphone and says, "Now the world will hear who you really are." Treat money as a servant and tool, not a master. Those words might sound simple, but they hold the power to completely change your relationship with wealth. Most people don't realize it, but they live their entire lives serving money. They wake up chasing it. They go to bed worrying about it. And every decision they make is controlled by it. They sacrifice relationships, health, dreams, and even their integrity just to earn a little more. And yet, no matter how much they gather, they feel empty. That's because they've given money the throne. They've turned a tool into a god. But money was never meant to be your master. It was designed to work for you, to obey you, to help you build, create, and serve. The moment you understand this shift, the moment you reclaim authority over it, is the moment the angel of money truly begins to stay. I once knew a man who was obsessed with wealth. Every conversation, he had circled back to money. Every decision he made, where to live, what job to take, who to marry, was guided by one question: will this make me more? At first glance, he looked successful. He had the cars, the house, the expensive suits. But when you looked deeper, you saw a different story. He was exhausted, constantly stressed, and deeply unhappy. He had no time for his family. His friendships were shallow. And worst of all, he could never stop working. Money had become his master. It dictated how he lived. And like any demanding master, it never stopped asking for more. Now compare him to a woman I once met in a small town. She didn't chase money. She directed it. She saw it as a tool to build the life she wanted. She worked hard, yes, but not to serve money, rather to make money serve her. She invested wisely, not for greed, but for freedom. She made her money work in the background, through businesses, investments, and partnerships, so that she could spend her days doing what mattered to her, teaching, traveling, and helping others. She wasn't a slave to money. Money was her employee, and like a loyal servant, it worked tirelessly for her, even while she slept. That is the secret difference between those who feel trapped by money and those who feel free because of it. There's an old saying, "The love of money is the root of all evil." Many people misunderstand that line. It's not money itself that is evil. It's when love turns into worship. It's when money becomes a master and you become the servant. When money tells you who you are, how much you're worth, and whether you deserve happiness, that's when it becomes dangerous. True wealth begins the moment you stop chasing money and start commanding it. Think of a hammer. It's a tool, powerful and necessary, but only in the hands of someone who knows how to use it. If you let the hammer control you, you will destroy everything around you. But if you control the hammer, you can build homes, bridges, and dreams. Money is no different. It can build or destroy. It can heal or harm. It all depends on who's holding it, and whether they remember they're the master, not the servant. I once heard a story of a young entrepreneur who built a successful company, but soon found himself drowning in work. He worked 16-hour days, 7 days a week, constantly chasing growth. "I'm doing it for freedom," he told me. But he had no time for his family, no peace, no joy. He was trapped by the very thing he thought would set him free. One day, exhausted and on the brink of burnout, he asked himself a powerful question. What if I made my money work for me instead of me working for it? That single question changed everything. He started automating parts of his business, delegating tasks, investing profits into assets that generated income while he slept. Slowly, the chains began to loosen. He still worked, but now it was on his terms. He stopped being a servant and became the master. Money is a tool to build your vision. It should support your purpose, not replace it. Yet many people live as if money is the purpose. They spend decades chasing it, only to realize at the end that they missed the point. Money is meant to amplify life, not define it. It's meant to help you travel, not trap you. It's meant to empower your dreams, not erase them. If you treat money like a servant, you will ask it, "How can you help me achieve my mission?" But if you treat it like a master, you'll constantly ask yourself, "What do I have to sacrifice to please you?" There's a reason why financial freedom is called freedom. It's not just about having more. It's about having control. A wealthy slave is still a slave, but a person who knows how to make money serve them, who uses it to buy time, create opportunities, and bless others, is truly free. The angel of money is drawn to people with that mindset. It knows that in their hands, money will not become a prison. It will become a vehicle for good. I think of a man I met who had built passive income streams over many years. He once said something that stuck with me. "I don't work for money anymore. Money works for me, so I can work for meaning." That is the essence of mastering this energy. When money is your servant, it becomes your ally. It funds your passions, supports your family, and fuels your purpose. But when money is your master, it becomes your captor. It keeps you chasing, keeps you anxious, and keeps you small. Even the angel of money respects those who don't worship it. It's drawn to those who understand its place. Important but not ultimate, powerful but not all-powerful. Money doesn't want to be idolized. It wants to be utilized. It doesn't want you to bow to it. It wants you to build with it. And it rewards those who know the difference. Think about your relationship with money now. Do you work for it, or does it work for you? Do you control how it flows, or does it control how you live? These are uncomfortable questions, but they reveal everything. If you are working endless hours just to survive, if your happiness rises and falls with the balance in your account, if you feel that you are nothing without it, then money is in control. But if you have a vision larger than money, if you see it as a tool to achieve something deeper, if you use it to create rather than chase, then you are in control. The angel of money honors those who understand this sacred order. It knows that when you sit on the throne of your life and place money at your feet as a tool, you are ready for more, because you will not be corrupted by it. You will not be enslaved by it. You will direct it toward building, blessing, and expanding. And in return, it will serve you faithfully, without end. There's a quiet truth about money that most people never discover. It comes when you finally realize that money multiplies most faithfully when it flows through your hands towards something greater than yourself. The angel of money is not drawn to greed or fear, but to generosity. It lingers where it sees resources being shared, not hoarded, and where wealth becomes a channel of blessing, not a stagnant pool. It's almost as if money itself understands that its highest purpose is circulation, like blood to the veins of humanity, bringing life wherever it travels. I once met a businessman who had everything by the world's standards: multiple houses, cars that shone like polished mirrors, closets filled with clothes he barely wore. But when I asked him what gave him the greatest joy in life, he hesitated. His eyes drifted toward the window, and he admitted, "Honestly, I thought all of this would fill me, but it doesn't. It feels heavy. Sometimes I feel like I'm suffocating under my own success." That heaviness came from holding instead of flowing. Money, when clutched tightly out of fear or pride, becomes a weight. But when released toward purpose, it becomes wings. In contrast, I remember a schoolteacher who never considered herself wealthy. She lived simply, but she had a habit of quietly paying the lunch fees of children whose parents were struggling. She told me once, "It's not much, but I know it keeps a child from going hungry or feeling embarrassed." The glow in her eyes, as she said, revealed something deeper than wealth. It revealed abundance. Though she had less money than the businessman, she was far richer in spirit, because her money was serving love, not fear, and life, in its mysterious way, kept rewarding her. She always had enough, and often more than enough, because she understood the sacred law of circulation. Money loves to move. Have you ever noticed that stagnant water becomes foul, but flowing water stays fresh? Money is the same. Hoarded wealth becomes stale, isolating, and eventually a source of anxiety. Flowing wealth, however, creates connection, opportunity, and joy. A philanthropist once told me, "Every time I give, I feel lighter, and somehow more always comes back." His words echoed the wisdom of generations before him. Give, and it shall be given unto you. This is not just spiritual poetry. It is practical truth. When money flows outward with intention, it creates trust, relationships, and possibilities that often return multiplied. Think of the great builders of history. Hospitals, schools, libraries, bridges. None of these were built by people clutching tightly to their coins. They were built by those who understood that wealth gains meaning only when shared. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men of his time, spent the latter part of his life building libraries around the world. He once said, "The man who dies rich dies disgraced." He had discovered that money, left hoarded in vaults, serves only one. But money that flows builds legacies. I once spoke with a young man who had just begun his career. He was earning more than he ever had before, and he was torn between saving it all or spending it recklessly. I asked him, what would it look like if you assigned every dollar a mission, not just for yourself, but for others? He thought about it and began dividing his earnings into categories, some for his future, some for experiences, some for giving. Months later, he told me that the act of giving, even in small amounts, made him feel wealthier than saving alone ever did. It wasn't about the size of the gift, but the flow. He realized he was not just earning money. He was directing energy. When you give with intention, something profound happens inside. The fear of lack begins to dissolve. You realize you are not at the mercy of money. You are the one guiding it. And paradoxically, the more you guide it toward good, the more faithfully it returns to you. This isn't magic, it's alignment. Generosity aligns you with abundance. Stinginess aligns you with scarcity. One opens your hands, the other closes them, and closed hands cannot receive. I recall a story of a woman who lost everything in a financial collapse. For months she struggled, working odd jobs just to keep food on the table. But every week, no matter how little she earned, she set aside a small portion to help others. Sometimes buying groceries for a neighbor, sometimes giving bus fare to a stranger. People told her she was foolish, but she refused to stop. Years later, when her situation turned around and she rebuilt her life, she said, "It wasn't the money that saved me, it was a giving. It reminded me I was not powerless. I still had something to offer." That spirit drew opportunities back into her life. Generosity became the bridge that carried her from scarcity to stability. Money has a strange way of revealing who we are. When we have little, it tests our trust. When we have much, it tests our character. Some of the most miserable people I've met were those who had everything but gave nothing. And some of the most radiant souls were those who gave from their little and never seemed to run out. It's not the amount, it's the flow. The angel of money doesn't stay with those who hoard. It stays with those who keep the current alive, who let resources move through them like rivers nourishing the land. Even science whispers this truth. Studies show that people who give, whether time or money, report higher levels of happiness, lower stress, and longer lives. Why? Because giving shifts the focus from fear to abundance, from isolation to connection. It rewires the mind to see wealth not as something to guard, but as something to grow. And growth always feels alive. There's a phrase I once heard that captures it perfectly. Money is like manure. It stinks when it piles up, but spread it around and it makes things grow. The angel of money smiles when it sees you planting with your wealth. It knows that in giving, you multiply not only the money but the meaning of it. So ask yourself, when money enters your hands, does it stop with you or does it move through you? Do you grip it with fear or release it with trust? Do you treat it as a stagnant pond or as a flowing river? These questions reveal everything about your relationship with wealth. The people who attract lasting abundance are not always the ones who earn the most. They are the ones who understand circulation. They know that money, like breath, must come in and go out. They inhale with gratitude. They exhale with generosity. And in that rhythm, they find peace. The angel of money is drawn to such people. It recognizes them as safe keepers of abundance. People who will not let wealth rot in fear, but will let it flourish in purpose. And in their lives, money ceases to be a source of anxiety or pride. It becomes what was always meant to be, a faithful servant, a flowing current, a river of possibility that never runs deep or wide at MY friends. The angel of money is not some distant force waiting to be summoned. It is already here, watching how you treat what flows through your hands. Do you clutch it with fear, or do you release it with purpose? Do you allow it to master you, or do you command it to serve? Every choice you make whispers the answer. Now is the time to decide. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Now is the time to stop chasing and start directing. Now is the time to stop hoarding and start flowing. Now is the time to stop bowing to money and rise to your true authority over it. Because money is not the goal, it is the servant. Money is not the master, it is the messenger. Money is not the destination, it is the vehicle. And if you can grasp that truth today, if you can hold in your heart and live it with your actions, then the angel of money will never leave you. It will follow you, flow through you, and multiply for you. Not because you beg for it, but because you understood it. So I leave you with this. Don't ask, how can I get more money? Ask instead, how can I make money serve a greater purpose? For when you live by that question, abundance will always find you. The angel of money belongs not to those who worship it, but to those who master it. Your support means everything. If this resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And the real question is, will you serve money or will money serve you? In the end, money has only two choices. Either it becomes your master or it becomes your servant, and the one you choose will define your entire life. Thank you for being here. See you in the next one.